I was recently at the Wellington Seventh-day Adventist School, and while I was there, had the opportunity to meet with and have a conversation with the principal, Mrs. Karla Mitchell. And I know that you'll enjoy and be blessed by my conversation with her.
Karla, I remember the last time I met you here at the school, you were about to go on a bike ride. Do you still go on bike rides around the country? Where's that part of your life up to?
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy motorcycling with my husband. Occasionally we go with other friends, and my daughter's actually got her licence and a motorcycle, and her husband, and well, fiance, and my two nephews are riding too. So sometimes we do family trips,
Yeah.
big jaunts. Not as much as I would like. Time sort of, puts paid to that, but
Yeah.
I do. And we've just started on an adventure bike
Okay.
journey. So we've just bought adventure bikes so that we can get around New Zealand on the gravel roads. Just recently we rode, before lockdown, we rode in Vietnam from Ho Chi Minh to
Okay.
Hanoi on
Wow.
on XR 150s, and that was really fun. So
And XR 150, what does that mean?
it's a little trail bike.
Okay.
Little trail bike. So
Yeah.
pushing it to get to 90 k's an hour. But in Vietnam, that's all you needed to do.
Okay,
So
okay.
we just wanted to do something a bit more. We're stuck in New Zealand, so
Yeah. And you've just got a new bike that's arrived today, this morning.
I do. Yes.
And this is the adventure bike.
Yes. So this is a
Okay.
BMW F700
Yeah.
GS. So
Yes.
hopefully my feet will touch the ground. I'll try it out when I get home. So that'll just take us a few places. We've got two dogs,
Yeah.
and we've just got dog boxes for each of them to go on the back, one each bike.
wow,
So
wow.
hopefully they'll enjoy it too. Yeah.
Two dogs.
Two dogs.
What kind of dogs?
Jack Russells,
Oh, wow.
little puppies. Yeah,
Yeah,
one's just
yeah.
3 months old.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Plenty of energy.
Yes. Yeah, lots. Yeah.
So a lot of stops.
Yeah, usually. The knees are getting old, so 100 kilometres is a good length, and then a break.
Yeah.
Cafe stop.
Yes,
A walk.
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's great. We've been around most of New Zealand,
Yeah.
just about everywhere on the bikes at least once. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's a nice life.
So your family, you've mentioned your husband, your daughter.
Yeah,
That's your family?
and a son.
Okay.
Our son lives locally in Porirua. Got married in January
Yes.
in Wellington to a local girl. It's we're originally from Dargaville.
Yes.
And we left there at the end of 2010.
Okay.
Our son went to uni in Christchurch, and our daughter went to Tui Ridge for a couple of years
Okay.
and did a cadetship
Yes.
there.
Yes.
So, and then she met a boy from Martin, and our son met a girl from Wellington, and so now we're close to both of them. It's amazing how it worked out.
It's worked out very well.
Yeah.
A
couldn't have
real,
picked it.
a real Kiwi family.
Yes, yeah, and close. I
Yes.
thought we might have been miles away from them, but no, they're
Yeah.
both close. So.
You're principal of the Wellington Seventh-day Adventist School, but let me backtrack a little and just ask you about the track that led you to teaching. Where did that all come from, and how did that come about?
Bit of a long story, probably. We moved back up north from Auckland when the children were little, and big homeschooling community up there. So we homeschooled our children
Yes.
all the way through. I wasn't a teacher at that stage, but I quite enjoyed it. And I had lots of friends up there that were teachers. There's lots of Adventist teachers up north. And so I started looking into that. I'd actually applied for midwifery before that and was accepted, but stuff happened and God very clearly shut that door. And so I left it for a few years, and then I thought, I'll give teaching a go.
Okay.
Part of it was very practical. I had no intention of ever leaving up north.
Yeah.
It was very
beautiful
practical.
up there.
It's lovely, and my family are from there, and
Yes.
so are Grant's family. So we thought that would be us forever and
Yes.
ever. But so I did teacher training in my late 30s probably. So it hasn't, as an adult, the children were teenagers, and then I started work up north there, and the year that I was looking to go full time, for the first time ever, pretty much there were no jobs in Dargaville, and so I thought, oh well, we'll see what happens. And I had a friend at the Wellington Seventh-day Adventist School, Jenny, and we'd been down to stay with her. I'd visited the school, And at that same time, a job came up here. Linda was leaving, and so I applied for that job. It was, yeah, it was all very timing, and we sort of prayed about it. And at exactly the same time, Grant got a job as well, and stuff that we had to sell up north all went, including the house, which was a bit of a biggie, really, at that time.
Yeah.
It was big. So.
Some real clear signs there along
Yeah,
the
very,
way.
and just the way it happened, you know, people that you know, and
Yeah.
and I remember phoning Pastor Ken Curtis. He was our pastor up north at the time, and I said, oh, I need a reference because it's an Adventist school. I need the pastor to give me the tick, and he said, oh, that's our daughter-in-law's job. So I didn't realise the connections. So connections all around. Yeah.
Now, you're here at Wellington, right at the other end of the island, and you've been at the school and you've seen the school grow. You're now run out of space, and it's just a vibrant, great place to be. So I'd like to hear about the school, because when I was on the, well, we didn't use the term Board of Trustees back when I was on the board, but back when I was on the board, we were a struggling school. We were trying to find ways so that we could get students into the school. I remember being in charge of marketing as a board member and trying to find ways and ideas for us to promote the school. And now here today, it's a different story. But tell us a little bit about the school. Well, tell us as much as you want about the school. We'd love to hear about the school.
So I came at the beginning of 2011,
Yes.
and I remember when I first came in, we had probably just on 70 kids, give or take. The classes were all quite full. There was a bit of an influx that year, and then I don't know what actually happened, but you know, different people came and went. I actually ended up leaving a little way into that. I got quite sick and left, and went to Cannons Creek, and there was quite a high staff turnover, and the roll dropped at the same time. We were blessed to have Elmer come to the school. It was great, and he took over as principal when Davina left. But it's quite hard, I find, once you've got a role that's dropping, it's very hard to bring it back up. And my sister was in the office for a little while, and she did a bit of marketing and fundraising for us, and she was always trying to, you know, get things happening, putting signs down the bottom and whatnot. And the local churches came to the party then too, in the ministry, because we actually dropped down to where we only had 2 classes being funded by the ministry. And at that stage we had teachers saying, well, I'm not teaching year levels that are more than this, so I'll go too. And it was all a bit desperate, really, because I think critical mass is really important in education. Once you go below, then people sort of lose faith and pull out. So anyway, it was great. The pastors and the local elders and some different people on the board, they got together and they went round actually door knocking. They got some sponsorship for students, and by March the 1st of that year, we had 51 students, which took us back to 3 teachers, which was a real blessing. So then we were solid, and from then on we've just grown. I think, Elmer had a very steady hand, great financially for the school as well, and then it's just slowly grown from there. And I think it is that critical mass thing, and once you get so much, and all the advertising in the world can't replace word of mouth.
Yes.
And the school is growing. I think I go to principal meetings locally, and I listen to principals and the issues they have in their schools. I think we're really blessed here. We've got a great community. It's not perfect, there's kids, there's people, but it's like a big family. Our school community is wonderful. The kids are great.
Yes.
We don't have a lot, touch wood, of behaviour issues. There's some, but it's just a lovely feel. The staff enjoy working here. We've got a really good team. And I think that makes the difference, and so the word gets out. And last year we got a roll increase from 76 to 100, and this year we're full. We've got more enrolments already for next year than we have space for, so now we're desperately looking to grow our facility so that we can grow our people again.
This really is a good news story.
It is.
I have a real connection with Wellington, having done all my high school years here, just over at Mana College actually. And then being on the board, being a pastor in the region, and to see the school so strong at this time and vibrant is all praise to God.
Absolutely.
And I'm so thankful to the Lord for what He's doing through you and your team.
Yeah.
And you're right, as you acknowledge the churches and the pastors and leaders around here, and I'm sure there'll be other churches as well, not just the Adventist churches,
That's right.
that are all part of this
Yep.
community, and that's very much part of what we are doing in education, is that we're here for the community.
That's right.
Not just for ourselves.
That's right. Yeah.
Tell me about leadership and what you have, some learnings that you've had in this such a difficult practice, and in the times that we're in, to take on leadership, to navigate all the nuances that make leadership so tension filled and has so many facets to it, but at the same time it's such a privilege. And so the Lord each day gives us strength to do that. But what have been your go-to practices in leadership or learnings that have continually come back to you and have helped you?
I think, the first thing I did in the office when I moved in was Rayleigh very kindly bought for me a verse to put up on the wall, and she said, "What's your verse?" And so the verse is, "I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me."
Amen.
Philippians 4:13. And I think for me, like when things get tough,
Yes.
that's my go-to verse. But it's also a reminder when things have gone well that it's not me.
Yes,
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there have been some really hard decisions to make,
Yes,
which
yes.
put on your big girl undies and do it. But everything we do is for the good of the school and the good of the kids. And so
Yes.
sometimes you've got to do things which aren't great. I think too, it's looking after the staff. It's really important to have a good team.
Yes.
We have a really good staff culture. That term well-being gets bandied around a lot these days, but I think it's important. Teaching's a really hard job in terms of not just the hours that our teachers do, but the load they take with the kids, whether it be their hurts or the background issues that they're dealing with, the
Yes.
learning difficulties, just in managing, 20 to 30 kids every day. So they
Yes.
need some downtime too.
Yeah.
And so not overloading the teachers, I think, is
Yes.
really important.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's fantastic to work in an Adventist school. It's so lovely. We start every day together. We have a
Yes.
reading and prayer, and there's just that general discussion, so we know we're getting on, and the same at the end of the day. Everybody's got each other's back. So it's that Māori proverb, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It's people,
Yes.
and it's our staff, it's our kids,
Yes.
and it's just caring for all of them. And
You
making
sound
sure
like you have a very pastoral heart, in that I've asked you about leadership and you've really responded in terms of people. Let me throw a question at you that I haven't even hinted about talking about today, but I think you will have a response for me. Later on today, I'm going to be sharing with the students, and I'm wanting to go down the track of the digital world. So you're teaching in this world where devices and gadgets and screens are a big part of a child's world. What are your thoughts around that? What advice you may have in that area for how do we help children navigate that world where it's so influential in the way they think and interact with the world and each other and themselves? It has such a powerful impact. What have you seen?
Yeah, it's huge now, isn't it? You can't
Yeah.
ignore it. We can't put our heads in
No.
the sand. And I love my devices. Uncle
Yes.
Google has the answer for everything. So it's great, and I want our kids to understand that and be digitally literate
Yes,
as
yes.
well. But that they're kids and they're vulnerable and they're silly sometimes
Yes,
too, and they do
yes.
things. So we do the digital thing here, but we don't just rely on what we have as well. I mean, we have values that we just keep on
Yes,
highlighting
yes.
for the children as well. And I think it's not just the kids either. It's the parents, and the families.
So true, so
Because
true.
a friend shared with me, and I just put it on our Facebook page, a 7-year-old girl sharing about relationships with kids and how too often we're on our devices and
Yes.
we don't give kids the time that they need, because I'm a bit guilty of that. You know, I don't have kids at home now, but if I did,
Yes.
so we have to learn to put them down and model that. You know, we've
Yes.
gone from modelling reading to modelling devices, and I don't think we're doing it very well.
How interesting.
So-
It's something we're all navigating and trying to
Yeah.
work through at this
So, yeah,
time.
we need a bit of modelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you've said, and also your openness and vulnerability about that, because it's something we're all trying to figure out, and including myself. I'm the same. I'm a real gadget person,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's just so much in these the devices. Let me end off by asking you, as leader and your pastoral heart, what is your desire for this school? When you think about your role and what your dream is and what you pray for regularly, what is that?
You know, it's always for us as a staff to be connected to God and to be modelling Jesus for our kids.
Yes.
One of our teachers, she always prays, let us be Jesus with skin on for our children, and I think that's really important.
Yes.
And it's for our children to be connected as well. And sometimes there's a bit of tension, I feel, sometimes between what we advocate personally and perhaps what different homes advocate and different religions, and so it's bringing that all together, but just remembering that it's about character. And so we want kids who go from here with great ethics, great work ethic, great character, care for others. You know, it's what we're wanting for our children, and it's in our vision. You know, we're wanting children to be spiritually connected, emotionally strong,
Yes.
and socially skilled. And you know,
I
yes,
like
we want
that.
them to do reading, writing and maths, and we
Yes.
want them to do it really well.
Yes.
Our parent community have said, you know, we want to be the best school in Porirua, and we do. We want our kids to come out of here really excelling academically,
Yes.
but we want them to be nice people.
Yes.
We want them to be kids who make good decisions and who stay solid in their faith.
So true what you say about character and that desire to be transformative in their learning, so that it is very much their heart and who they are that is also impacted deeply by the school.
Yeah, and we're only one leg. You know, a friend used to say it's a three-legged stool, and there's the family, there's the school, and there's the church.
Yes.
So, you know, we're one portion of that, and you know, if any one of those legs gets knocked out, the stool falls over.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well, you're surely doing your part for the stool here at Wellington Seventh Adventist School.
you.
Karla, thank you. Thank you for joining me on Dealing Hope.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure there are many who will be encouraged.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.